What's up, everybody? Welcome to Hapticast, episode number 38. My name is Josh Toll, and I am joined by my good friend, as always, Brett Roberts, and our AI companion, HBot.
Welcome to Hapticast.
Hello, Brett. Hello, HBot. Hello, everybody.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show.
So it's been a few weeks since we have done a pod. For those of you that were wondering where we were, don't worry about it, okay? I'm kidding. We already went into it on our Resident Evil 4 stream, but basically, somebody in Brett's house caught the virus, as Borat would say. And then, we've been busy with our Resident Evil 4 live stream series, which we wrapped up last night.
And then I got the vaccine for the virus.
That's right.
And got deathly ill from the vaccine.
That's right.
So
that's right. So we're now anti-vaxxers. Just kidding. No, we're not.
We're both fully vaccinated at this point.
That is true. So we can start, taking down some of the you guys can't see it on camera because it's super thin, but we have plastic barriers in between us in HQ here that we can take down now. So, but yeah.
I'm excited.
Me too. I'm ready to fucking swap cummies with you. Trade jizzle.
We do that
juice.
anyway.
That's true.
Yeah, we do that anyway, though.
Quick rundown of our topics for you all today. We are going to be discussing PlayStation and some recent news / controversy surrounding them, and then Jim Ryan's statements about some upcoming games potentially for PlayStation. We're going to be talking about Resident Evil 4 VR, which got announced at Capcom's showcase a couple weeks ago, or last week. Yep. Then we'll be talking about Knights of the Old Republic and rumors about a remake being made by that. And then we have an awesome indie game for you all this week, discovered by Mr. Brett Roberts himself, called Unbeatable, which we will discuss. Excited about that one. It's fucking slick. So
yeah.
With that being said, Brett, why don't we start, as we always do, with discussing our Ow. You ever have the lights just turn off for a minute in your head?
Yeah, but thankfully there's someone here to turn them back on for you. Flick that little breaker switch for you. Media consumption update.
That's right. So games that we're playing, stuff that we're watching. You want to start or you want me to start?
Yeah, I'll just run through real quick. First of all, we have, because of everything that's been going on, we haven't really been playing many games.
That's right.
I've been watching a lot of TV and movies and stuff. Keeping up with Invincible. Wow. What a great show. One episode left from the time we're recording this, so I'm really excited to see what happens. I know you're really enjoying it as well.
That's right.
Watching the anime Dr. Stone. I'm catching up on that as episodes are released. Very great show as well. If you haven't seen it.
Yep.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I actually just wrapped up before we recorded today. Josh and I were kind of chatting about it before the show, and it's okay. I think the last 3 episodes are the best of the series. Episode 5 is probably the best episode in the whole series, in my opinion.
Right.
With 6 right behind it. Josh hasn't finished it yet, so we're going to not spoil anything. We're not going to say anything, but if you're on the fence about watching it, I will say Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it sucks because the show sucks, in my opinion, and you have to watch it to know what's going to happen in the MCU in the future.
Right.
So it's unfortunate, but that's how it is. Some great moments, some great fight scenes, some great action, and some great reveals. And, the circumstances of the show going forward are going to have a huge impact on the rest of the MCU. However, the show just didn't do it for me. Games, I mean, have I been playing games? I mean, I feel like I really have just been playing Apex, trying to get that battle pass done.
Yes.
And I don't want to forget to mention, Josh, we actually played Apex with a subscriber the other day.
That's right.
Daniel. So shout out to Daniel. We played some Apex with you. A couple of great games. Didn't get the dub, but maybe next time. And, if you want to play some games with us, add us on PSN, on Xbox, on Steam, and all that. I'm sure we have our username somewhere, on screen or on our Twitter accounts, which you can follow us right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it, Josh. That's really all that I have had going on. I've been very sick. I've been dealing with a very sick fiance. So I'm ready to get back in the saddle and play some games.
Get back in the saddler.
Back in the Saddler, which,
Wow.
by the way, if you're not watching our Resident Evil live streams, we completed the whole Resident Evil 4 video game. Josh's first time playing it.
That's right.
And we just wrapped it up last night, so we're still a little high off of that. Why don't we segue right there, Josh, since you just finished Resident Evil 4? That's what we've been playing. What did you think of Resident Evil 4?
Listen, it's a great game. It has, as I reviewed and put my review on GG app. Make sure you follow us on GG if you're not. And shout out to GG as well. They're doing great stuff over there. Basically Letterboxd for video games, for those of you that don't know. But I think it's a great game. Clearly super formative. Like if I had to go back in a time capsule to when that game came out, that is the standard and kind of what projected the survival horror genre kind of in that direction. I loved it. I do think the last 2 chapters meander a little bit and have some padding in there that's definitely not needed. Just from a critical standpoint, I didn't mind it. I was just like, yeah, this is not necessary. It just feels like extra padding to add gameplay on top of it. Has some super over the top moments, like anime style moments, which are really cool and I fucking love.
Characters just jumping backflips 20 feet in the air.
Yeah. Speaking of characters, I really enjoyed the characters. I think Leon's great in it. Ashley, even though I think she's a little useless, that's kind of the point. I think she's cool. I think Leon probably should have took her up on her offer at the end of the game instead of trying to go after Hunnigan, but that's just me. I think the story...
What did you think?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, to touch on the characters, what did you think after... So you actually played Resident Evil 2 Remake before you played Resident Evil 4. So you had a little taste of Leon's character, and then you see what he's now become.
Yeah.
What did you think of that, seeing the transition from how he was before as a amateur policeman to working for like the government and the president, essentially?
Well, there is, 6 years between 2 and this game? Something like that? There's a couple.
Yeah, this takes place in like 2004 or 5, I think.
Yeah, there's a couple of years after, right? So in Resident Evil 2, he's a little bitch, right? Like he just joined the police department. He goes there for his first day or whatever it was, and like everything is shit. So he kind of gets thrown into the fish out of the water type of story with that. He's not in Resident Evil 3. And then he's back in this, doing some fucking shit. But he's been through some shit. And clearly, as edgy as some of his lines are, like where his character was in 2 to where it is in 4, like clearly he has a lot more confidence. Like he can handle himself. Like he doesn't give a fuck anymore.
He's seen some shit, man.
He has seen some shit. He's been through the fucking ringer. So I think that's cool to kind of compare that where he was in 2 to where he is in 4. And now I will say this. Which might be an unpopular opinion. Maybe because I played it more. Maybe I need to play through Resident Evil 4 more. I think I like Resident Evil 2 more than the Resident Evil 4. I really enjoy the different that you can play as different characters in Resident Evil 2. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I just want to say that Resident Evil 2 Remake wouldn't be what it is if not for Resident Evil 4.
You're right.
Because the original
was not like that.
Is nothing.
Yeah, so I guess there should be more specific Resident Evil 2 Remake. I just like that you see the same thing happening from different angles. And I like Claire. So that might be
definitely a unique storytelling.
Might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't know. Well, I know it is going to be an unpopular opinion, but hey, that's just like my opinion, man. But yeah, it's cool. So make sure you check out our series on that if you have not yet. We both put a lot of work into it. It was many weeks on end. It is the reason we got to 500 subscribers plus. We had some awesome new community members, including from like Saudi Arabia and stuff, which is awesome. And I think that live stream series was kind of an example of what we ultimately always wanted the channel to be, was just people hanging out, talking about games and enjoying them, which is kind of really what it felt like with our community with that series. So that was cool.
Yeah, for sure.
So, really,
what else?
Yeah, really quickly, other stuff that I'm playing. I actually don't know. I'm probably forgetting. Oh my god, I beat Days Gone. I platinumed it. Stay tuned for more about Days Gone from our channel. I might be having something for you all in the future regarding that. I am playing a lot of MLB The Show
Nice.
on Xbox
So weird.
for free with Game Pass.
So weird.
That game, such a fucking mess, dude. Listen, there's a reason that I play the games, right? Because I enjoy them. Like, there's a loop there. It's a mess. You need to fix it. You need to overhaul it. It needs a new engine. I'm really happy for people on Xbox that have no experience with the game, but as somebody that spends 40, 50 hours every year in MLB games, it's a fucking mess. Fix it. Okay?
Bring back 2K,
Fix
dude.
it. 2K was the
Bring back
superior
MLB 2K.
was the superior baseball game.
Yeah.
I'm probably missing other games, but other stuff, everything that you said, Skate the Infinity as well, anime, which is cool.
Yep.
Movies, I watched Godzilla vs. Kong, which I fucking loved.
Same.
Fucking slick. Anybody that doesn't like that movie, I don't like you, and your opinion sucks. That movie gave me so many things. First of all, that we haven't seen before in monster movies, and everything I wanted. Adam Wingard is a great director. He's fucking slick. I watched The Wolf of Snow Hollow, which is a fucking great fucking werewolf horror movie.
I've heard great things about that.
Dude, you would absolutely love that movie. You have to watch it. Robert Forster's in it. One of the last movies he did before he died. Fucking just, if you're a horror fan, watch that because it is so good. Watched Underwater, which was a rec from you. Was not interested in that movie, but I gave it a try because both you and our friend Sean liked it. That movie is also fucking slick. It's got issues, but you know, sometimes you just have to suspend your disbelief, whatever, and enjoy it. Fucking monster design and everything. The last act of that movie is nuts. And I love that movie just kind of throws you into it. Like, it doesn't give a fuck about the characters. It doesn't give a fuck about anything else. It's like, let's fucking go. And there's balls to the wall from the very beginning. And there's some not good shit in that movie.
Did you notice that I don't remember if he was a captain or what. Did you notice that that's Vincent Castle?
Yeah.
The guy who plays in that movie La Haine?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's nuts. To me, that was nuts
like,
because I haven't seen him in really much.
He's huge, dude. La Haine was
I haven't seen him in a lot.
really the first. I mean, that was what put him on the radar. But yeah, he's been in a lot of movies. And he's a great actor.
He is.
Shame the fate that his character meets in that movie. Spoilers. But it's so cool. That movie does so many cool fucking things. And it's really a shame. It was a fucking unique original monster movie concept that felt like you're watching almost like a space movie, but underwater. And it's just so cool, man. I really love that movie a lot. And then I also watched last thing is that movie Nobody with Bob Odenkirk, which is basically like John Wick, but with Bob Odenkirk. And that movie is so good. It's fucking slaps. It slaps.
Made by the people that made Hardcore Henry, right?
That's correct. Yep. Yeah, Nobody slaps. It is. I love movies that are just like, we really don't care about the characters or anything. We're just gonna build fucking big dick sequences of action, and this movie delivers. The premise of it, where John Wick was a dog, in this movie, what sets him off is his daughter's kitty cat bracelet is stolen, supposedly, and that's what kind of.
It's not a parody, though, right?
No. It's its own thing. It doesn't try to be John Wick. It's just in the sense where it's like an action movie with a dude that's on like a fucking mission. So it's cool, man. That's pretty much it. Why don't we hop into our main topics for the day, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it. You want me to take the first one?
Do it, brother.
All right. So, Josh, a lot of stuff's come out in recent months about PlayStation. What is PlayStation doing right now? Jason Schreier put out a great article about how Sony and PlayStation seem to have a obsession with, big blockbuster Hollywood style games, and that might hurt them in the long run. I know you have, opinions about that article, and you, I know you're a huge fan of Schreier, so I'll let you speak to that. But big news coming out of Jim Ryan. Apparently, Jim Ryan says that PlayStation has been quietly investing in PS5 exclusives. which to me, it's like I believe it, but at the same time, it's like, where's the proof in the pudding? I need to see it to believe it. So speaking to Nikkei, which I might be butchering that name, but it's a Japanese media source. Jim Ryan, the PlayStation boss, said that the company has been quietly investing in the creation of first-party software and that it could pursue further merger and acquisition opportunities to bolster its in-house development capabilities. He said, "We've been quietly but steadily investing in high-quality games for PlayStation, and we will make sure that the PS5 generation will have more dedicated software than ever before." Big claim.
Big claim,
Very
considering
big claim.
the strength of Sony's first-party studios
Yeah.
and production.
So
right?
there's a couple parts to this PlayStation Got Games topic, but let's just dive into this one, Josh.
Okay.
So basically, let's talk about PlayStation, and their merger and acquisition move here.
Okay.
We've seen it with, Final Fantasy. The next Final Fantasy game is a PlayStation exclusive, seemingly.
Right.
So this isn't like, out of the ordinary. PlayStation's been making deals like this for a long time, but it sounds like this is going to be like super exclusive to PlayStation. They're developing it alongside Sony, essentially.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? What do you think?
Listen, Sony already has super strong first-party stuff, right? And
Yep.
I think acquiring more studios, right, is a great idea, given the fact that at least initially, Sony is usually, from what I've heard, is really great, right, with fostering those first-party studios, kind of allowing them to do what they want, and providing huge fucking budgets for those games, right?
Yeah.
Where I take pause, and I don't know all the details, right, is first of all, I think this statement from Jim Ryan is a direct correlation to that Schreier article and a lot of the heat that PlayStation's been taking the last couple weeks from that Bloomberg and Schreier article, where in that article, which, by the way, I do like Jason Schreier. I have some significant issues with this article, more so than other things, including the fact that he updated it to take names of people out of it that were calling him out for basically not knowing the full story, including ex people that were directors at Bend Studio. I have issues with the article. I'll leave it at that because it's not super relevant. But anyway, I take pause because I'm worried that if it is to be believed that PlayStation is not willing to take as many risks under Jim Ryan and specifically Herman Hulst too, these guys are not Shuhei Yoshida. They're not Sean Layden. They're not Andrew House, right? To me, they seem so much more corporate, and honestly, I kind of fucking find them disgusting, and I really don't like them as a fan. I think they don't communicate enough, and I think they're businessmen, which is not a problem, but I think they're kind of abysmal. That's just the kind of feeling I get. I look back at Sean Layden, right? Just the way that he spoke about games. And the proof is in the pudding, right? Because he was fucking... And Andrew House, right? Look at fucking Kojima's game. They were willing to be like, yeah, this is risky. But you know what? We're going to fucking double down. We're going to put money in it. It doesn't matter if it's a multi-million seller. Hey, there's a fan base here. There's a sect of gamers here that we can target. Let's release something for them. So that's it. I just take a little bit pause because I'm worried that they'll start acquiring some of these smaller studios, give them hope. They make one game. Maybe it isn't a multi-million seller. And then PlayStation's like, yeah, we're not going to fund another one of these. So you're going to go work on this other thing for like Naughty Dog, for example.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
I agree with you. I think that Jim Ryan is more so of a businessman. You could take him, you could pluck him out of PlayStation and put him in a completely different organization, in a completely different industry, and he would do just fine.
Yeah.
And just fine. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't do amazing. I think that he's a businessman first and, the boss of PlayStation second.
Right.
He's said things in the past that kind of like show his true colors. He was looking at, what game series was it? Forza or not Forza? It wasn't Forza. It was Gran Turismo. Mm-hmm. And he was at an event where people were playing like old Gran Turismo games, I believe. And he was like, why would anyone want to play these things? Look at the graphics, they're so bad. And a real gamer and a real, PlayStation head would have been like, that's our legacy. You know what I mean? That's a franchise that means a lot to our fans. And the graphics don't matter. It's the games themselves and the memories and the nostalgia that these gamers have for
the
it.
preservation aspect of it, which I know is another part of this story, like the PS3 and Vita store stuff, which is related to all of this, that they were closing it and now they're not because fans were like, hey, don't fucking do that. Anyway.
Yeah. So just to name a couple things that, Sony's done recently in terms of, merging and acquiring studios, they just bought Insomniac. Insomniac is a true first party Sony studio now.
Right.
They always kind of were, a Sony studio with the Ratchet and Clank games,
Right.
but we did see them take a little dip over on, the Xbox side with Sunset Overdrive. And now they're back. Now they're back with Sony exclusive this time for good. So, maybe we'll see more studios come out of the woodwork and get signed to Sony. Xbox is doing a great job right now. Mm-hmm. They're signing all these studios. PlayStation needs to catch up. And there was a recent leak, Josh. There was a big Capcom leak. Mm-hmm. And there was some stuff that came out about Sony and exclusivity deals with Monster Hunter World. I don't know if you caught this. Essentially, Sony paid to have Monster Hunter World and I believe, well, maybe World, but definitely Iceborne, the DLC, come to PlayStation first. Mm-hmm. And they also paid for certain games to run better on PlayStation and for the games to be throttled on Xbox. So I think Sony needs to stop doing things like that, spending their money on things like that, truly are just hurting the game industry because you're letting less people play it. And they need to start investing their money in actual studios that are going to be making games that can make them money.
Mm-hmm. Well, compare that too, just to, listen, it's no secret that we are PlayStation fans, right?
Yeah.
It's a platform that we favored for a while now. To me as a gamer, right? As a consumer, as a gamer, Xbox's philosophy of more access to more games for more people, I love that. Game Pass is the best deal in gaming. It's the best software thing, platform, whatever. It's the best thing in gaming right now, right? And PlayStation's losing to that. And that's fine, right? That's healthy competition. That's good. But don't be shady about it. Double down and figure out a way to compete, just like Xbox did. They fucked the duck on the Xbox One generation. They did, right? They had terrible leadership at the beginning of it. You know who I'm fucking talking about. We have a system for that. It's called Xbox 360. Go fuck yourself, Don fucking Cucktrick. And then they brought in Phil Spencer, and you see the total paradigm shift of their philosophy. And guess what? It's working. It is working. People like it, right? So PlayStation needs to kind of catch up with that. And I'll echo a tweet that I sent out a couple weeks ago when this news and this article broke is, last gen's heroes are next gen's villains. And that, if some of these things are to be believed, that's fine. And I'm sorry, Jim Ryan, but I'm not going to take you at face value, my man. You haven't earned that. I don't trust you. I don't like you as a gamer. Herman Holtz, I don't trust you. I don't like you. Okay? As a consumer, as a gamer, right? Totally not digging into the probably more rational thinking side of that is that I don't like them in those positions. I don't find them appealing. And they really worry me. They really, truly worry me about the brand and what they're doing.
Yeah, and I think that we would maybe like them a little bit more if they were more open and actually doing things that the gamers want. Mm-hmm. Case in point, Josh, the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Vita stores were going to be shut down.
Right.
And, they actually put out a blog post where they were like, hey, guys, we messed up. We understand that. We're going to keep the stores open for the current time being.
Yeah.
Who knows how long that's going to be? It could just be an extension of 6 months. It could be a year. Could be for even longer. But that kind of stuff shows goodwill towards the PlayStation community, and they actually care. And so I just think, like you said, Phil Spencer came in. He it was a paradigm shift in Xbox's culture and Xbox's marketing and Xbox's as a brand who they are. I feel like we're seeing a paradigm shift with PlayStation as well, but for the bad, and it's with Jim Ryan. And if he wants to prove that he's cool and that he's, down the hang and that he's actually for the players, I think he needs to be more open. And maybe this statement from him, this statement that holds no weight whatsoever that I read at the top of the segment, maybe that's him trying. I don't know. But Josh, before we move on from PlayStation, there is one thing I want to talk about. A potential publishing partnership that was recently announced. PlayStation and Firewalk Studios are going to be publishing partners for a new original multiplayer IP.
Who's
and you would assume
Firewalk?
that this is... I'll explain that in a second.
Okay.
So you would assume, Josh, that, this is going to be an exclusive, but we're seeing now PlayStation games on Xbox and on PC. So truthfully, I don't know if this is going to be a PlayStation exclusive, but it is a new original multiplayer IP that's being published by PlayStation. So Firewalk, who are they? They're a new development team that is part of the Probably Monsters collective of studios and was set up by former Bungie veterans. Now, you're going to recognize a couple names here, Josh, and one you're not going to expect. Studio head of Bungie... Studio head of Firewalk is Tony Hsu, previously general manager and senior vice president of Destiny at Activision, game director Ryan Ellis, previously creative director at Bungie, and executive producer Elena Sigmund, previously of Irrational Games and Harmonix. So... Josh and I know Elena Sigmund more for her music from the Call of Duty Zombies franchise. But Josh, she's actually been a producer of games.
Dude, I had no idea.
Destiny. Yeah,
I had no idea.
She's tapped on here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
So I don't know anything else about this original multiplayer IP, but it sounds like it's a lot of Destiny guys attached to it. Mm-hmm. So hopefully it's something cool. That's all I got for you.
Wow.
That's right.
All right, let's move on.
Thought I'd blow your mind real quick with the Elena Sigma name drop.
Yeah. So, Brett. A couple weeks ago, at the time of recording this, Capcom had their showcase, right? Their Resident Evil showcase, which I live streamed. So that's on the channel if you want to watch my live reactions to that. In that showcase, Brett, they had stuff for Resident Evil Village. They had stuff about the upcoming anime series on Netflix, the movie, everything. But also, to everybody's surprise, they announced a new Resident Evil 4 remake. But not the one that you would think. A VR version. A first-person VR version. Made for the Oculus Quest 2. So anyway, they announced this game, right? Resident Evil 4 Remake VR for the Oculus Quest 2. First person. So just some information about it, and then we'll dive into it. Basically... it is a first-person now VR experience, right? With basic VR controls, comfort controls, teleportation, quarter turns, half, whatever, all that shit. And apparently they have modified some enemy counters kind of to lend itself more so to the first-person experience. But the real thing with this, Brett, is that it's for the Oculus Quest 2, and there's been no announcements for any other VR platforms.
That's right.
What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that it looks fucking awesome, and I can't believe it. And it's such a random thing. I feel like I feel like Oculus is the one that developed this, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Studio within.
I feel like someone was like, just fucking around. And they made this as like a tech demo, and then they got Capcom's permission to like actually make it real.
Yeah.
And it's just it's so weird because we've been hearing, there's going to be a Resident Evil 4 remake. It's delayed. It's not coming out. And now this is out. And it's like just the weirdest. No one saw this coming.
Right.
It's just so strange. I think that I wish it would come to PSVR, but I feel like it's an Oculus Quest exclusive kind of thing. So,
yeah. At least for now.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
We did just wrap up. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to mention we did just wrap up our Resident Evil 4 live stream series. If you guys haven't seen that, go check out our channel. It was Josh's first time actually watching or playing. Resident Evil 4. So we live streamed the whole game. It's all on our channel. And Josh, I'm thinking about it now that I have the game fresh in my mind. There's so many boss fights in Resident Evil 4 that would be so cool to play in VR.
Yeah.
And there's some fast-paced moments in the game as well that I can't even imagine what it would be like in VR.
Right.
Specifically, like the Krauser knife fight in VR. Like,
yeah.
Dude, that's got to be sick, Like, that's awesome.
Yeah. So it's cool. Um, I don't understand the move from Capcom's side to limit it though to Oculus Quest 2. As far as the VR space goes, I feel like that's one of the smaller communities. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I hope,
It's growing.
yeah, I hope in the long term though it does come to other platforms, Vive, whatever, and obviously PSVR, for our sake. I hope it does eventually, but I don't know. I don't know. We have seen other Oculus games get ported to other things. Look at Vader Immortal, which was originally just made for the Quest, I believe, the original
Yeah.
Quest. So I think we could see it eventually, and I hope we do. But yeah, it's cool. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that boss fight on the lake, throwing the harpoons in first person would be really cool.
Lago.
Yeah, Del Lago. Some of the giant bosses like Salazar,
Yeah,
like that would just be so cool to see in VR.
yeah. Game's
But
definitely gonna be
it'd be
more
hectic.
That's true, and the game's gonna be more fast paced, right? Especially if you're doing VR movement, it's not gonna be tanky like it currently is. So that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, and that goes to the point that you made several times about how Resident Evil 4 is so unique in that they make you stop complete movement in order to, make your shots. And it almost adds to the horror aspect of it.
Right.
And I wonder how it's going to feel playing it in VR because obviously, well, maybe you will. Well, do you have to stop to shoot in VR? Like, I don't know if that's going to be a thing.
I don't know.
So,
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not.
so in a way, they're taking away like a really
Potentially.
integral part.
Yeah, potentially. I don't know. But nonetheless, it's cool. Hope it comes to other platforms. So,
Yeah.
all right, Brett. Our last main topic of the day before we move into indie intel. Knights of the Old Republic is among, some would argue, is the greatest Star Wars game ever made. Okay? It is a great game for two reasons. One, the story, slick. Two, the gameplay, turn-based RPG, slick. Here's the thing. We want a remake. Star Wars fans have wanted a remake for a long time. Star Wars fans have wanted more stories in the KOTOR era, right? Haven't really gotten it at all. But recently, Brett, there has been several rumors about a remake of Knights of the Old Republic in the pipeline. Okay? Now, as with all rumors, right, before they are officially announced, take it with a grain of salt. But with this story, it has come from somebody called Mr. Matty Plays, which if you are a Star Wars fan, you know that he is right almost 100% of the time. I don't know who his sources are, but he's got friends in high places.
Who is he? A YouTuber?
He's a YouTuber. He has a Twitter account. He has leaked a lot of stuff in the past, and it's basically always true.
How does he know?
He's got a source. I don't know. Similar, Corey Van Dyke, who is a Twitter Star Wars leaker person, whatever. They are kind of usually go toe for toe with this stuff, and usually if one of them says it, I pretty much believe it. But anyway, so he says that Asper Studios, which for those of you that don't know, are basically a studio that has done other remakes or ports, really more so, of older Star Wars games to consoles and more modern platforms. They've done Pod Racer, Star Wars Jedi Knight. I believe they've also published things like Observer and other stuff like that.
They do Bounty Hunter as well.
Yeah. So they
Like those PS4 ports.
yeah. So they've done a shit ton of games. They're a decent studio, but apparently they are developing this remake. I guess think like kind of like a Blue Point almost type thing. Okay, so that's great. I would love a remake of this game. I'd love the game again, remaster, whatever. I want it. But some very, very, very bad news with this remake potentially.
What's that?
According to Mr. Matty Plays, this KOTOR remake is going to be doing away with the real-time, turn-based combat system that's in the original game. and making it more of an action RPG.
So I'm confused here. Real time turn based. What does that mean? Is it real time or is it turn based?
It's real time in the fact that it's not it's not like a Persona type of turn based thing, right? Like the movement or the actions and everything resolve at the same time, right? So you make your choices and then it goes to the resolution of them. Okay.
Gotcha.
Action RPG is more like a
Hack and slash.
I mean, yeah, think of Dynasty Warriors, whatever, things like that. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. People have made the argument that that's not what made the original KOTOR great. I fucking disagree. I disagree wholeheartedly. Because, like I said, there's two things that I love about the game: the story and the combat. It's super satisfying, right? And I'm a huge RPG fan in general. I prefer the more strategic, thought-based combat systems, right? If they turn this into just like a shoot 'em up, right? Or think, I don't know, something like The Witcher, where it's just, happening and you play it, that takes the pure DNA and the stakes of the original game and kind of guts them out. I think
it sounds like you'd be more so mindlessly clicking
yeah,
to do damage.
I think this is a terrible idea. I think from hardcore fans like myself, you are not going to win anybody over with that. And for somebody like me, that's like, yeah, I want a remake of this game. I'd love to play the shit out of that. I'm not fucking playing an action RPG version of it. Why would I want that? That's not a remake then. You're creating a new game because that's not what the game is. And I have such an issue with that.
It's a reimagining, not a remake.
Yeah. And that's not to say that it won't be good either. But I'm just telling you from my perspective as a KOTOR fan of the original game, I don't want to fucking play an action-based version of it because that's not what the game is.
What if it's not a remake and it's a new game entirely, but it was just inspired by KOTOR, and it's like like a spiritual successor in a way, and that's just how they designed the combat to be? Then would you try it? Would you be cool with it?
Maybe, as long as it shares none of the same story elements.
So you're basically saying like it's just the fact that they're calling it KOTOR and it's not KOTOR.
Yes. There is that game has a very specific formative story to my fandom of Star Wars. Okay? There are engagements in that game that lend themselves to and only to turn-based combat. If you take them away, I don't fucking like you because that's not what the game is. So if you want to make a KOTOR era game, fine, but do not take the story and the elements of this game and transpose them into something that it is not, because then I have an issue with it. I think it's like, now my opinion about Resident Evil 4, if you make a remake of that game and you don't stop and shoot, then it's not Resident Evil 4. It's just not. I don't know. Whatever.
It's a good point.
It just fundamentally changed the DNA of the game.
And I'm sure people felt the same way about Resident Evil 2 and 3 when they took
You're
away
probably
the,
right.
The camera
and
angle.
I like those games, from a gameplay perspective. So you're right. I don't know. Maybe I'm being stupid, but that's just my thoughts and feelings.
No, you're entitled to that. And I honestly haven't played enough of this game to have an opinion. I actually don't even know if I've gotten into any of the combat because this does not sound like something I am familiar with. But I tried it out and I made a character. And honestly, this kind of a game, I'm down for that, regardless of if it's the turn-based or if it's more like Jedi Fallen Order, where it's like an action RPG. Mm-hmm. I don't care. I'm excited because I do want to get into this story. I do want to know more about this era of Star Wars because it is slick from what I've seen.
It's very slick. It's like Game of Thrones, but Star Wars.
Yeah.
It was kind of Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones was Game of Thrones,
Exactly.
So, and the warring houses are the Jedi and the Sith. So.
Interesting.
Anyway, that's it.
All right. Well, Josh, then let us move on to our weekly topic, Indie Intel, where we take a look at an indie game and share it with our friends and our viewers here today.
Let's do it.
Josh, this week,
yes,
I'm going to be showing you a game called Unbeatable.
Yes.
Unbeatable is a game where music is illegal and you do crimes. That's their their tagline.
Mm-hmm.
So right off the bat, where music is illegal, it sounds a little bit like Footloose. Just saying.
You're right.
Just gonna point that out there. But this is the furthest thing from Footloose, Josh. This is an anime-looking rhythm game masterpiece.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Just from what I've
Deeming
seen,
it a
I am
masterpiece already.
dude, just from what I've seen, this has so much potential, and I truly cannot believe it. And hopefully, in editing, we'll have some clips on the screen now or before I started talking or something, so you can at least see what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, this game looks so good. The anime style is like Studio Trigger, if you guys know who they are. They've done Kill La Kill. That's what the art style reminds me of, and it's like uncanny. It's so good. So I'll just go into it a little bit more and describe the game. So it's an anime juiced rhythm adventure with a heavy focus on music and emotions. I got to tell you, Josh, the flavor text is on fleek with this game and the Kickstarter campaign. The style, it's like Persona 5 levels style in their presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's being developed by D-Cell Games, who are located in Fairfax, Virginia. So United States.
Yep.
Very interesting. Josh, this game was funded
Yes.
in 15 hours.
Yes.
They were only asking for $55,000,
Yes.
and they are at $169,137 at the time of us recording this game.
Yes.
So they describe the gameplay as a narratively hyper-focused, dense exploration game where two-button rhythm combat powers more or less
Everything.
everything. That doesn't sound like actual English. But we played the demo, both of us.
Yes.
So we have our thoughts.
Yes.
What did you think of the demo after you played it?
Slick. That's my very in-depth thought. Analysis. Is it slick? It takes. I love games, right, that have such simple mechanics, but clearly easy to pick up, hard to master, right? Super simple concept, but you have parts in the demo where basically you have to hit. I played on a keyboard, so you have to hit one key to hit up, another key to hit down. But you have these other things that you have to smash down on, so you have to hit up and then hit down really quick, so you smash on it. You have stuff that you have to hold, and then you have combos, and you have to go between the different levels of it. It's slick, and I will say this: of the flavor text on their Kickstarter, one of the most interesting things to me, given the fact that I'm a Persona fan, is they say one half is this: you explore the game world, meeting terrible people, and building a set list for your upcoming concerts, right? Helping strangers, practicing with bandmates, sleeping in all day. It's your funeral. Here's the part. You only have so many days before each big event.
So you choose what you do.
Yeah, that reminds me of Persona, where okay, you have to utilize your time. I'm going to go into the dungeon. I have to beat the dungeon my first time through. If I don't, it's going to fuck up my timeline. I can't talk with other people. I can't build up my relationships with other people and the characters. I might miss out on story events, things like that. It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the other half of the game, it says here, is an arcade, flawless rhythm gameplay powered by an entirely original soundtrack, which, by the way, the music is fantastic from what I've heard so far. It's simple but frenetic. Sure, there's only 2 buttons, but there's a lot of visual variety to the set-piece styled battles. Once it groove exclusively to the rhythm gameplay, there's going to be an arcade mode available for you to play from the start. So if you're only in it for the arcade and you're not in it for the Persona, side quest, exploration stuff, there's an arcade mode. You could do that. It reminds me a lot of, obviously, like a Guitar Hero, Rock Band, but more recently, or I should say, back in the day, Parappa the Rappa.
Yes.
And then more recently, more recently, they did this game called Friday Night Funkin', which is becoming very popular. It's a Flash game or an internet game.
Not Flash anymore.
It's not Flash anymore. That's why I kind of bit my tongue there. So it reminds me of that, and I think that it could be very popular because of that, because Friday Night Funkin' is exploding right now. There's so many YouTubers playing it and streamers playing it. So I feel like this game could do really well. There's a couple of stretch goals. They're trying to get online multiplayer if they reach I think $300,000. If you reach $200,000, they're going to add acoustic versions of all the songs and remixes of the songs.
Yeah.
So they're really just adding awesome content. The more you what's the word I'm looking for? donate, or the more you put forth. So, yeah, man, I saw this on Twitter and I was like, oh, this looks like a cool anime series. And then it wasn't an anime series. It was a video game. And I was like, okay. And then it was a rhythm game. And I was like, okay. And then I watched the trailer and I was like, okay. And I sent it to you and you liked it too. So, yeah, go check it out, guys. The Kickstarter link is in the description.
That's right. And as well as the demo will be in the description if you want to check out that.
Yeah, so they have a demo called the White Label demo. There's like 3 versions of it out right now. I would say download the most recent one, obviously.
Right.
And then there's going to be a demo on Steam in the coming weeks.
Right. Which you can wish list right now.
That's right. So check it out.
Yeah.
I'm going to back this one. I think it was $27 to get the game. So really not expensive at all.
Yeah. I do too want to shout them out as well, looking at their Kickstarter page, which I think is important, and it's always been important, but is in getting more visibility now. Is they talk about their accessibility features on the Kickstarter page. And it clearly they're designing a lot of elements with the entire game with accessibility in mind, which is super important, and increasingly so is gaining more visibility for the need of it, I guess, in the gaming community. And I think a lot of that has to do with, look at all the assist modes or the accessibility features that like The Last of Us 2 had, right? Which kind of is spearheading more of a conversation about this stuff. You look at Hellblade, like Senua's Sacrifice and stuff with that. So I think it's cool and important and a good practice that they listed it on their Kickstarter page as well. And the real reason I bring it up, right, for those of you that don't know already, is I'm colorblind. And it has an option on here which they list, which is the first time I've seen on a Kickstarter ever. It says options for colorblind users, which is important. So, yep, that's why I bring it up. I just wanted to shout them out too for that because I think it's important. I think it's a good practice because you want to make sure as many people can play your game as possible.
So. Absolutely. And I just want to point out as well, it looks like that the D-Cell Games, the creator, they actually launched this campaign back in the end of March, and they canceled it. It only got $44. 2 people backed it, and then they canceled it. So I'm not sure what happened there. But after they relaunched it, it went absolutely nuts. And like I said, it was funded in only 15 hours.
Yeah.
So, good job to them. They created a great trailer. The trailer's fantastic.
Yes.
So go check it out, guys.
Yeah. All right.
That's it. This was a quick one, Josh. Very quick podcast, about 47.
Was it?
Something like that. Yeah, it was a quick one.
It's all right.
Getting back in the saddle. We just got off a night of streaming for 3 hours. Again, if you haven't checked it out, Resident Evil 4 live stream series has concluded. It is over. I think it's 7 parts.
Yep.
And the most recent episode was 3 hours long, 3 hours of live streaming. So that was last night. We are a little tired.
Right.
So bear with us as we get back into this.
Yes.
Podcast thing.
Yeah. Well, listen, folks, make sure you like the video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media, which you can find in the description. Make sure you brush your teeth before you go to bed. Make sure you do your laundry.
That's a good one.
Every week.
Got to do that after this podcast. Yep.
Make sure you're getting paid and you're not getting taken advantage of by the man. And most importantly, last but not least, make sure you suck us off. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you. If you're new to the channel because of our Resident Evil live stream series, welcome and thank you for joining us. If you didn't know, we upload this full podcast by itself, but before we do that, we upload it in segments for each topic. So if you only were interested in a couple of topics today, next time just only watch the videos that you were interested in when we upload them as discussion videos on our channel. So yeah, that's all I got, Josh.
All right, everybody. We will see you next time. Thanks.
Thank you for watching Hapticast. Please like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you do not miss an upload.